Hello YouTube, it's been a long time since I made a video. I've been sick, that's why my voice sounds kind of funny. Um, Anyways, this is my coffee pot, and it stopped working. You know, when it was plugged in, you just push a button and the lights come on and stuff, and so it doesn't do anything now. I have no idea what's wrong with it. So, I already got another one. It's only 25 bucks for one, and it's a lot easier than, I didn't have a receipt for it. And so I figure I just went out and got a replacement one so I can have coffee again. And then decided I'm going to tear this one apart and see if I can see what's wrong with it, maybe fix it. And so I thought, oh, that'd be kind of a fun video. Let you see how I tinker around with this kind of stuff and see, maybe get it working. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this thing was only like a year old, so I'm kind of disappointed it broke so quickly, or stopped working so quickly. I'm thinking that there's probably some Phillips screwdrivers under here, and manufacturers used to like to hide screws under these feet. So first thing I'm going to try to do is, I can see the power goes in here, so I'm hoping there's just a problem with the power coming in or something. So my first objective is figure out how to get into this thing. And nowadays they don't want you fixing anything, so it might not even be designed to get back into it. But anyway, so here we go. I'm just going to get a screwdriver and try to get some light on the situation and see if I can figure out how to open this up. And I'll just shoot videos of this as I go along and learn stuff about this. Alright, so sure enough, there's in these little holes down here, there's Phillips screwdrivers, and I just took my, or Phillips screws, I just took my screwdriver and took them all out. And then I can reach in down here and I could push, and this side was tilting out, but it felt like this side is holding this in. And I don't know why manufacturers have to do this. This is the dumbest thing, but they always put, seems like they always put the feet in there. And anyways, you pop these little deals out, and then there's a screw down in there. And at least they didn't, usually they have like a glued in one. When you peel it off, then it's kind of like done, you have to glue it back in. So at least this pops off and you can put it back in, but it's still dumb. Why hide the screw under there? And then to top it off, I'm in there, my screwdriver's spinning away, and I'm like, what the heck? So I got my trusty light out. Oops, sorry, it's pretty bright. Shined it in there, and they thought that they put security screws in there. Another, what the heck are they thinking? So got my little security screw deal set out and had a hard time getting a socket because it would kind of bottom out right there and stuff, but I managed to get it in there and get the screws off. So anyways, so I got that out. Another thing they do, if you get all that and it still doesn't open up, they tend to like to put a screw under these stickers, so you have to tear up the sticker, and they're like, oh, your warranty's voided, as if they're gonna help you out. Anyways, they might help me out if I had a receipt and everything, but I don't know. Anyways, so I got all the 6 screws out, and I just reach in here and you get a little bunt there, and then there it comes out, and that's actually the unboxing. So, and so this bottom plate looks pretty nothing weird looking down there, so I'm just gonna set that aside. And I don't know if this is probably gonna blind you guys. Shine it in here, and I'm just looking around and looking for obvious stuff. I'm hoping whatever's wrong is probably just right in this probably like a power transformer area. It probably takes this AC and converts it to DC and runs all this. They got some, well, this is heating. Heating's always going to be use a lot of electricity, so this is pretty heavy gauge wires. Actually, I wonder where they made this. If they made this in China, they actually did a pretty good job on the wiring. It doesn't look too cheap. So actually, you can actually get really high quality stuff out of China. It's all a matter of price, and American companies, when you hear people complain about Chinese products, it's because the American company went to the bottom of the rung and cut all the corners to maximize profit, and didn't pass that on to the consumer. But you can have the top of the line stuff engineered in China, and it's still a quarter of the price here in like the United States, but it is going to be, you know, more expensive. And so they very well could have still made this in China. If I find out in here if it says where it was made, I'll let you know. Anyways, so now I'm going to poke around in here and see if I can find out what's going on, why this thing's not working. Alright, I can't tell how blinding this light's going to be on camera, but basically I took these two screws out, and they were just holding up this section here. They're just back in there. So now this comes loose, and I got this bracket here held on. So I kind of took them out. So they're basically almost out there. So I took that off, and part of this is for when I go to put it back together. I got a little video showing me how to do this. So now, show you what we got here. So what you can see here is I got, looking at these two AC lines, and they come in and they plug in right here. And another thing I noticed, it looks like, I'm thinking there's probably, hopefully this is the only cable going up in there, because there's only like, I can't tell how many wires there are. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 wires, and I don't know how many buttons that would cover. It might be doing some tricky grid stuff, so but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons up here. Did I count that wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I only see 5, but it could be using a like the ground, and then using a crisscross pattern to get the other ones. And it's probably doing something like that. But it would be nice if that's all the top ones. And if I could figure it out, I could like simulate pushing them right here, and that would help troubleshoot out. But I'm gonna kind of tear into this more so I can see this section, because this could very well be where the problem is too. Anyway, so I got this all almost out to where I can work on it, and so I'll just let you pick it up as I move along. Hey, a quick update. Wasn't even gone that long, and let me set this light up here so I can see better. I want to show you something that I spotted right away. First of all, part of this video is just to show me where these wires go. I got the white one on this side. I got this black one straddling, and I'll have to see which one, how this goes, like if this is a stripe or what. Because usually, even though it's AC, in electrical coding, there's usually one wire that's considered like, I don't know, we'll just call it wire 1 and wire 2. And so it is kind of polarity sensitive in a weird way. And if you get into phasing, that becomes important. And then, so then I got my red wire here and my blue wire in the back. And these wires are all going to work in, basically, looks like 2 of them are like a safety coupler. They're probably viewing or detecting the presence of hot water here. And the other one, the white one, looks like it might just only be for the heating element. So, but, and then I gotta disconnect this cable here, which you already kind of knew about, and I gotta see if it'll come off. I got some kind of weird glue thing on it. But as I was looking at that back cable, I think I spotted the problem already. Oh, maybe 2 problems. I'm looking at that, and that capacitor, oops, you can't probably see it there. That capacitor right there, it looks to me like it already blew, because it's got, they put a cross cut in the top to when it explodes, it kind of relieves the pressure instead of popping. And I can't tell, but it looks like this resistor here popped too. And I don't know, I usually see capacitors and resistors are usually kind of grouped together. And I don't know if it's the resistor that fails. Well, it probably doesn't make sense. It could be, who knows, maybe the industry's got it all backwards. I don't know if it's the resistor that burns up and causes the capacitor to pop, or it most likely is the capacitor fails and it causes the resistor to pop. But it looks like that resistor might be burnt, but definitely that capacitor is bad. And that's probably what the whole problem is right there. And that's actually a pretty inexpensive fix. That's like probably under $1 fix, depending on whether I can get the resistor figured out, because I'm sure I'm not going to find any docs on this. and so that might be tricky. The capacitor should be easy because it's written on the outside of it, and the way resistors are, it's written on the outside, but when it blows up, burns up, you can't see what the color code used to be. Anyway, so just thought I'd make an update, again show me where the wires go, and let you guys know I may have already found the problem. Alright, talk to you in a bit. Alright, so there's a screw that was right in the, try to practice it. There's a screw that was right in the center there, and that screw I took out and put back there, and that was holding this plate in. These clips were like really hard to get off, and even though I didn't like using this as a pry point, I basically took my needle nose pliers and had to kind of like grab it like this and use this for a little lever to get those off. And I had marked like a little black X there with my intention of the black wire that went there was I kind of highlighted or marked it black also, so I could tell which black lead went where. And luckily, let's see where the black leads go. Oh, here they are. I thought I broke this when I took this one off because it's got a connector here, and the white lead goes to that connector. So they shared a connector, so it's easy to tell. I have to put it back together correctly, or I can't hook the white lead up over there. So that took care of that problem. But let me see if I can get a better shot of this. Again, I hope this isn't overpowering on the light. But this capacitor failed, and it looks to me like this resistor burned up. And if you look down on the circuit board there, it looks like it's all burnt up at the bottom there. So, and actually the hardest part was getting this darn ribbon cable off because they put glue on there. I don't know what that was about. I was almost ready to the point where I was just going to desolder the pins and yank it out, which is kind of dumb that they put a connector in there that's designed to be unplugged and then they glue it in. So whatever. You know, that's the thing, is nobody makes anything to where you're supposed to be able to repair it anymore. And that's why so much electronics is kind of shoddy. Like if this was meant to be worked on, these would all be like, you go get an old TV set that like a picture tube and stuff, and it's still meant to be worked on. This is what's, if you see anything weird or hear anything, it's a cat playing around. All the components are raised off the motherboard, and they did that so the technicians could easily like test and cut parts out and put pieces back in. But since they're not supposed to work on anything anymore, they put them all on the motherboard thinking it looks cleaner, and it does look cleaner. Actually, the solder's pretty good on this. It looks cleaner, but the problem is now all the components are touching the board, and you don't have as good as heat dissipation. They never really thought that out. When that's what happens when designers override engineers and technicians. They go, "Oh, the board looks nice and tight if we do it like that." But yeah, but you never knew about the heat consequences of all your components being so close and overheating. That could be part of the reason why some capacitors fell. Although in the past it's been people stealing in China, stealing each other's formulas and stuff, and not getting the whole formula, and actually bad batches of capacitors rippling through the electronics industry. They had a really bad problem a while back around the year 2000 and stuff like that. Not related to the Y2K problem, just happened to be, had some really bad batches rolling through. Anyways, so my hardest part's going to be figuring out this resistance value. I'm going to try to get these numbers and see if anybody's figured this out already. This is a really nice capacitor right here. And looks like some kind of it's probably a, what am I trying to say, a relay right here, it looks like. And so if I can, this is not a problem. I know I can fix this. This will be the problem, whether or not I can figure out what this is supposed to be. And then if I can figure out what it's supposed to be, then I can replace that. You know, what the resistance value of that is. And I'm assuming it's a resistor. I mean, it could be a coil or something, but it looks like a resistor to me. Anyhow, so I thought I'd just show you where I'm at there. And I think I'm pretty confident that's what's wrong with the whole thing. Anyhow, I'll catch you up as I go along. Alrighty, YouTube. It's probably not going to show up, but this is my Mr. Coffee maker, or Mr. Coffee. It says Sunbeam Products, made in China. Actually, I think the quality of the work on the motherboard is actually pretty good. It looks like it says JWX36. And so I sent them an email in their support deal explaining how this capacitor basically failed and it burned up this resistor, and it's capacitor C2 and resistor R3, I believe that's what it was. And again, I know what the value of this is, like 220 microfarads at 35 volts, and but I don't know what the value of this resistor is. And so I basically emailed them and asked them, tell them the information I had. Also, it looks like there's a part number up here underneath this prong, and it says E123995. So I sent all that information to these guys, and I'll see if I'll get any kind of reply back. So anyhow, I got a backup plan, because I can fix the capacitor, that's not a problem. The problem is the resistor, and like I said, I'll turn this off. I hope this doesn't blind the videos out. The resistors usually work with the capacitor. Like, here's a capacitor, this resistor probably works in conjunction with that one. This is probably just a resistor helping with something else. But anyhow, so I need the value of this. Now I got a backup plan, like I was saying, because I just went out and bought another one. And I don't know how much this one was. This probably was expensive because it looks all fancy and red. All it is like foil that there's little clips down there that holds this on, so it looks nice, but it's just plastic with fancy red and shiny stuff on there. So they probably charged a lot for this one. I don't know how much these go for. But the same pretty much one over there is only like 25 bucks, and it's black. So you don't pay as much for a black one. But my game plan is if they don't help me out, I'm going to just take that one apart. Because now I know I take it apart and see what the value is, and then just get the parts, fix it. And so I'm kind of at a hold right now. I think what I'll do is just wrap this up, get all the little screws and stuff I got laying around, put them in a Ziploc bag, and I'll probably just close this up and post it on the internet or the YouTube, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there, because it's probably going to be a while before I get around to taking that one apart, and also giving them a chance to respond back to my email. Anyways, hope you find this video interesting. It's just something I was going to do, and I said, hey, I'll show how I fix stuff. I fix stuff around my house all the time like this, and you know, this is probably $1 worth of parts, maybe $2 worth of parts, and there's a cat. $2 worth of parts, and you know, it leads to making you buy a $25 product. So much of electronics is like that. The parts are just ridiculously inexpensive if you know how to get it from sources, and Radio Shack usually marks up like 500 times and stuff like that, and it's still a good bargain. You could go down there and get these parts at Radio Shack, but Radio Shack is now bankrupt. At least they're closing mine down here in my town, so there's no more Radio Shack. So that was kind of like the last place locally you could buy things like resistors and capacitors, so that's kind of a bummer. And I kind of even thought about picking up that niche industry and start stocking that stuff. It's just that how much margin is there for something that you buy for 99 cents to get you, you know, 10 of them? You know, at Radio Shack they're selling them for $1 a piece and people buy them, but you know, that's a lot of resistors you'd have to sell to pay your $1,000 of rent you got to pay in your taxes and your electrical bill and everything like that. I don't think you'd make any money doing that, which is too bad, because I'd like to do it, but I don't think I'd make any money at it. Anyhow, a little bit of rambling there. I'll just wrap this up, and thank you for watching, and be sure and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this when I make them, and also hit like if you like this video. Thank you.